to playing the woman who raises a child born out of an extramarital affair. Films with offbeat themes rode on the multiplex wave and found a ready audience in urban India.
मर्द का मन क्या औरत के मन से अलग होता है? उसकी इच्छाएं औरत की इच्छाओं से अलग होती हैं। तन की प्यास जो तुम्हारे शरीर को जलाती है, क्या वो मेरे शरीर को कम जलाती है?
Also capturing urban India's spirit for something unusual was Dil Chahta Hai, which too took a stab at the young man-older woman love story.
But I think that's one of our last remaining taboos in Dil Chahta Hai, Freaky Chakra as well. The women are they're very uncomfortable about it. They don't want to accept that. You saw that in Dil Chahta Hai as well. I think conveniently she dies of some mysterious illness, and Akshay Khanna, of course, walks off into the sunset with a woman who looks quite very much younger than him. It's still a problem. I think we still haven't come to the stage where we can accept it.
The priest has asked them to kiss as man and wife.
Black, which was predominantly again a multiplex circuit success, had a deaf, dumb and blind Michelle McNally expressing her suppressed sexual desires to her much elder teacher, an unimaginable scene till just a few years ago. In fact, just a decade ago we saw Rani Mukherjee herself make her debut with Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, a regressive tearjerker which had her begging the court to be married off to her rapist.
क्या मैं माथे पे लगे इस कलंक के साथ जी सकूंगी? कौन थामेगा मेरा हाथ? कौन भरेगा मेरी मांग में सिंदूर? किसके नाम का मंगलसूत्र मैं पहनूंगी अपने गले में?
And 10 years down, she is Maya Talwar.
मेरी शादी टूट रही है देव.
A woman who gives up a loving husband and home for a more passionate and emotionally fulfilling relationship with another man.
क्या करो? खुशियां मनाओ. Should I celebrate? Should I celebrate that my wife is sleeping with another man?
And unlike Rekha in Silsila or Tabbu in Astitva, her decision needed no justification.
I never tried to justify anything in Kabhi Alvida. I just told it as it is. It's a film that reflects certain realities that we live within, relationships that are true but are difficult to accept. It's about rampant realities, and therefore it met with a kind of extreme reaction because there were people who were uncomfortable watching the film.
For that matter, Shilpa Shetty's guilt-ridden extramarital fling in Metro also represents a slice of contemporary urban India's tussle between continuity and change.
I have a family. I have a husband.
तुम खुद भी तो कुछ हो.
मैं कहती आकाश, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. मैं गिर गई हूँ आकाश. I feel like a slut.
There is an understanding that the traditional Hindi film heroine is no longer acceptable to the audiences cast within the stereotypical mold. They want the woman definitely to have much more of a personality.
So it's been a long journey for the Hindi film heroine, breaking conventions and exploring the boundaries of what's socially acceptable. A journey that has broken the stereotype and forged new norms. And as an 18-year-old Jia confesses her love to a 60-year-old Vijay,
मैंने ये नहीं कहा कि मैं आपको पसंद करती हूँ. I said I love you.
her evolution continues. It's time for us to head into a short break now. On the other side of the break, it's not just women on screen who've had an eventful celluloid journey in the last 6 decades. After the break, we take a look at woman power behind the camera. Welcome back to this special episode of Splendid 60 on women in Hindi cinema. Over the last few years, and more so in recent times, women in cinema aren't just about the actresses you see on screen. A growing number of women are involving themselves in filmmaking, editing and script writing in every department of filmmaking actually. So the question then is the male dominated film industry finally changing with the times? The image that flickers on screen has a direct connect with the mind that works behind it. And sitting comfortably in the director's chair is a new breed of filmmakers whose minds are busy creating images for the big screen. Farah Khan, Reema Kagti and Meghna Gulzar, a whole new generation of women working in an industry dominated for decades by men.
See, we've come a long way from a time when men would play female characters in films, because being an actress in a film was regarded almost as close to prostitution. We've come a long way from there. So if you remember where we're coming from, we have to be grateful for what we are able to do as women in the industry today. We have a lot more female technicians, we have female cinematographers and editors, and they're not only restricted to costume designing and hair and makeup.
Filmmakers like Sai Pranjpe, Kalpana Lajmi and Aruna Raje made a mark in the industry earlier. But these women directors were still far removed from the power center of the film industry.
चमको कपड़ों के लिए बेहतरीन साबुन आजमाइए बार बार लगातार कपड़ों में चकाचौंध चमक लाने के लिए खुशबूदार झाग वाला चमको
I think I can claim to be the first Indian woman to have made it into mainstream cinema. Like there have been technically women directors before me, Shobna Samarth, Bhanumati and so on. There have been a few names. But with my first film Spars, which won 3 national awards, and there was a big hoo-ha, woman director. So I can say immediately after me, Aparna Sen made her 36 Chaurangi Lane.
Look at these two, soaked to the bone. Who told you all to step out in this weather, eh?
We'd have swum here if we had to. Got news for you.
Georgie got a job.
We are gonna celebrate, baby. We are gonna celebrate. Okay, let's get started on the gin. The gin. Out with the glasses.
These madcaps. How are you ever going to keep a job? I don't know. You'll drive everyone up the wall.
I have been fortunate enough really to work with the maximum number of women directors, and I used to always find it very strange that women directors used to be very angry about being called women directors. They used to say, why should we be called women directors, in much the same way as directors say, why should we be called Asian directors or African directors or whatever. Now I think the problem there lies in the fact that if you said you're a woman director, it was largely taken as if it was sort of three-legged race or some such thing, so you were handicapped. When you were called a woman director, it normally meant that you were handicapped in some way, and that's what the women rebelled against, which I understand. But I would want that the fact that you are a woman should definitely be reflected in your work. Otherwise, what is the difference?
And then came Farah Khan's 2004 debut film Main Hoon Na. An ode to the Bollywood films of the 80s, Main Hoon Na was one of the top grossers of the year.
Listen to me when I say,
breaking the cliche that women filmmakers must make women-oriented cinema.
I will be there.
When the movie released, there were 1 or 2 really harsh ones, and that too before the first show of the film. I remember midday I had carried a front page review which kind of completely screwed up my entire month.
More recently, Reema Kagti's Honeymoon Travels Private Limited told the story of a group of newlyweds on their honeymoon in Goa with all the commercial elements in place. Basically, they were telling the stories they always wanted to tell, without carrying the baggage of being politically correct or stressing on gender equations.
यूं ही आंखों में आ गए आंसू, यूं ही आंखों में आ गए आंसू। जाइए आप, कोई बात नहीं।
क्या बात है? मुकर्रर?
मुकर्रर नहीं, गालिब।
Till now, when it came to women filmmakers, the three NRI Charlie's Angels dominated the mind space, but not anymore. Women like Bhavani Iyer and Shibani Bhatija are also rewriting the way the film industry has been functioning. These girls who penned hits like Sanjay Bansali's Black, Kunal Kohli's Fana and Karan Johar's Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna believe that the industry is changing. What's important is the big idea, not who it's coming from.
There are preconceived notions, but I think that happens in every walk of life. I mean, very often, for the longest time, they'll be like, oh, women can't run companies, but they run companies, they run the country, it happens. So it's just breaking through and proving that you can do something. That is what it really comes down to.
I find it strange that we are getting more and more women writers, and yet it isn't actually reflecting in very positive images of women. There's the syndrome of trying to turn her into a super mom, super woman. But I think we need more complexity. We need to see that. I think the only thing we can say is that our men continue to be in the same mold. But definitely today, different kinds of women are emerging.
And as these different women emerge, there is little space for the stereotype. As the boundaries are pushed and norms are rewritten, the portrayal of women on the 70mm screen has only changed for the better. So it's a whole new generation out there working without the constraints of gender identity. And it's almost like a whole new film industry that's gearing up to tell the stories that women want to tell. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.